Yeah, exactly. We always have conversations in front of a big light and a big camera. This is the the first podcast episode. This podcast, I talk to amazing people about their stories, and we just kind of go with the flow. And on this episode, I have the amazing, beautiful, super cool Zita Shurian.
Hi.
We've known each other for 7 years.
Yep.
We're currently flatmates.
Yep.
People think we're dating.
Yep.
We...
I'm not dating.
Okay. And we want to talk about dating in our 20s, because we are in our 20s. I'm 25.
Well, I'm barely in my 20s.
You are in your 20s.
No, okay. I'm 27. I'm 27, turning 28.
You are. Yeah. That is what... And we probably too often have conversations about dating in our 20s. So I thought it could be cool to record it. So thank you so much. And if you want to speak, you have to tell me, because we only have one microphone because I'm on a budget. So, so what is your dating history? What's your background? Tell me.
Okay. Okay, so dating history. I've had a couple of, I would say, long-term relationships. Mm-hmm. In my life. It was long-term. None of them were more than a year. But I mean, they were more serious relationships. Mm-hmm. Some of them I thought I will marry. So serious ones even. But yeah, and just kind of, just normal dating, just accidentally some situationships that, You
love those.
Yeah, hate those. Didn't really want to go into them, but they just happened to be them. But yeah, so just kind of normal. But in the last 3 years, I've been more kind of enjoying just being alone kind of situation, just not really like looking into dating. If it happened, it happened, but it really wasn't my focus. So I've been like really enjoying for the first time in my life, just kind of not like putting dating as like an important thing. So yeah, that's where we are right now. That's my dating history. How about you, Eloise? What is your dating history? How does it look like? Tell us.
Well, currently it's non-existent, pretty much. Yeah, we're quite aligned. I think we've kind of had quite similar experiences, I think, in dating. Like, I have also had a few relationships that haven't been like super long. My longest was just under 2 years in uni. And then a kind of slightly quicker one when I lived in Germany. And then I just got out of one almost a year ago, which was just over a year. And yes, I've been single for just a year. So you're more of a veteran when it comes to single life, learning so much from you. And yeah, it's had its highs and lows, I think. I think first becoming single, I think because it wasn't like a long-term relationship, so I think it didn't feel too weird to be single. And kind of be a bit more solo and like, kind of, and it was quite exciting in some ways because I could really just kind of put myself first. I feel like I've focused like a lot on my career and stuff. Yeah, and it was quite empowering and really exciting, and I felt maybe closer to my friends. But then I've had maybe some moments where it does feel a bit lonely, and there's also a lot of pressures, I think, from society, like when we're kind of in our later 20s to like to be in a relationship. I think we've both had this where people have said to us, the good ones are going to be gone. And that's kind of scary. And I think that's something that's maybe like made me in the past a bit more inclined to want to date because of that kind of fear instead of just kind of waiting till I'm ready. And then not all of our friends, but a lot of our friends are in amazing, loving relationships. And a lot of people are getting engaged. We've not had any babies yet. You have. Yeah. Actually, you have, yeah. So we had some babies.
We didn't have.
We had babies. People are getting pets as well, which I'm kind of sad about. You're kind of the closest I have to a pet. But yeah, like what kind of pressures do you feel you've had then of kind of being single in your 20s? Like there's kind of been this like really positive, empowering narrative I feel like you've had sometimes, but also the slightly more like pressure to kind of find someone, settle down. So yeah, I'd love to know more about that if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. um, I mean, obviously, there is a pressure of just being a woman who does have a ticking clock in a way, you know, of, like the sooner you get to your 30s, I think you just can't help but kind of have that feeling of like, okay, well, I don't really have that much time in case. I mean, obviously, I'm talking from like a point of view like I want to have kids. You know, not everyone wants to have kids, so that's absolutely fine. But I personally would want to, and then that kind of comes into that as well. Like, okay, I'm getting into my like late 20s. I'm in my late 20s, and so I'm like nearing 30, which I'm really happy about, by the way. Like, I have nothing against turning 30. But in that kind of sense, I do have the pressure, kind of, I guess it's a time to find someone, if I've said to recently someone, I don't know who I said it to, but anyways, I said my timeline. Oh, I know. I said it to my friends, about the timeline of, well, if I want to meet someone,
Yeah.
what's kind of like the timeline I have until I would want to have kids in normal time. So if I want to have kids at like 36, like I would want to find someone, date them before we move in together, that kind of thing, and then before we get engaged, I want to have enough time, like years together, and then I want like a nice engagement time, and then I want to get married, but then I don't want to like immediately have kids and all of that. So, like it's just a long timeline. If I think about it, and then that's why I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. Like if I want to have kids by like 36, at least like two, then I'm like, I should be married by, I don't know, in like 4 years time or something. So I think that kind of like timeline is a bit pressuring. But again, this is something that I give myself. So, and again, I've been single 3 years, and I've been just saying that I'm absolutely happy alone and everything. So the two don't really match. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I think that's the kind of like pressure I feel. And I don't really feel another kind of pressure, like I'm like very lucky with the senses I have an older brother, so he gets all the pressure from parents, that like, partner, and he has a lovely partner, so it's all going well. But I think because of that, I don't fortunately have that pressure from family, like, oh, when are you gonna have a partner?
Yeah.
They do ask, obviously, but it's absolutely fine.
Really, oh, hello. It's not like really pressured on you. It's kind of more just like a curiosity. It's not like it doesn't go in deep. Oh.
Yes, we're gonna have to figure this out. you're gonna have to get another one of these. This is not gonna work. Lol. But yeah, no, yeah, I don't have that pressure from them. So that's kind of. I mean, they always ask, and I always have to tell them that it's fine. Like you can ask other things about me. It's not just am I dating someone or not. And I also always tell them, yeah. So if you've dated me before, my parents know. I do tell them, so they absolutely know, and my brother as well. But yeah, just fun fact. We're an open family. But yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, I feel like on that sense, like pressure, I don't really have that. But I think the one thing I started to feel is what you were saying, is that most of our friends, are in like long-term, very like serious and really great relationships. And it is, first of all, so lovely to see. Like, I'm just so happy, just to see that. Because you always just want your friends to be very happy and be in a very secure and loving relationship. So it's really good to see. But I think, they have started all like kind of making the next steps in their relationship. So, like, I don't know, like buying houses, very recently. Well done, congrats. Buying houses, getting engaged, getting married, getting pets, as you said, or even children. I have friends with children as well. So, I think all of those just kind of made me feel like, oh, like it would be nice to, like, oh, I wonder how that would feel, like have someone to like build those things with. Yeah. And it would be, kind of nice. you know, because I feel like, you know, like we have this kind of really, really, really strong relationship as friends, as friends, as friends.
Sure.
And
Whatever.
no, this is as friends. But you know, like, so I kind of have that kind of thing, but it's always not a romantic one. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think I've started to realize that it would be nice to kind of like have similar things, but like as a romantic
Yeah.
kind of, you know. But anyways, there's a really long answer. There's probably more to say to that,
Yeah.
but I just can't think of it. But
Something you can always-
yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think that. How about you? Have you? Well, you kind of said it. Like if you have had like
Yeah.
pressures and stuff, but you know, do you feel like there's an expectation towards you to find someone?
Um, I don't know. I feel like you've maybe had it a bit more, just because I think I'm still coming out of the past relationship and still kind of like recovering from that emotionally. So I think I'm only feeling that kind of in the past few months, to be honest. So I'm kind of still figuring that out, that question. I think also like my family, our family don't really have like the conventional kind of healthy relationships, like, which is kind of good in a way because I think none of my family have felt the pressure to stay in relationships that weren't suiting them. So I think it's been quite empowering. Like my mom and her two sisters all left their husbands because it wasn't suiting them. So I think I've grown up really knowing how to leave situations and when it's not right for me. And that's been really, really great. But I think I've not grown up with examples of healthy relationships. And yeah, and like we've definitely discussed this a lot, and that's kind of hard because like dating is kind of a crazy, scary thing, and if you don't have the foundations of to know what you're looking for, it can be quite confusing and a bit stressful, I think. And I think that's why it is so amazing seeing, like, I do see like a really positive in that all our friends are in healthy relationships. And I think there are sometimes points where I'm like, I would love to have like a significant other too and like share these moments and, you know, but it's also just so like really refreshing to see so many people in such lovely relationships. And yeah, like I kind of always think that if like some of them, if they broke up, I'd be like a divorced child. I'd be traumatized.
You can't break up. I'm sorry, you can't.
Yes.
You know who we're talking about.
Yes.
You can't break up. Thank you.
You know who you are. You better be watching this, by the way, because you are friends. And if you break up, we're not gonna know what to do. We're just gonna stay single forever.
We'll cry.
Yeah. Brings me to my point about that couples are being in a couple is a financial, what's the word? Advantage.
Yeah.
That I think that's actually a big thing that is maybe, does it maybe go into the question of the pressures of like dating? Because I think there is that kind of thing where maybe a slight envy of like a lot of our couple friends are buying places, and that's only possible because they have two incomes and one bedroom mostly. I mean, I guess some of them are trying to get a two bedroom, but like that is kind of something. And things also like cooking together as well. We were talking about that, how like a lot of couples we know, they take turns cooking, so that kind of lessens the workload of their lives, and they'll maybe have a slightly smaller flat because they've got like a one bedroom or a 1.5 bedroom when we have a two bedroom, to clarify. And I think that's the big thing as well, and kind of stressful because then if you're kind of like in your 20s, you're not really earning maybe that much. Some people are, but you know, you're still maybe at the start of your career, and it's kind of like a bit like an annoying advantage that people in couples have, to be honest. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, no. I mean, absolutely. Like, obviously, now how we were saying that so many of our friends are like looking for houses, flats and stuff. Flats, really, basically. Sorry. You know, I mean, like they all look amazing, but you know, I'm just looking at those. I'm never gonna afford those. You know, I'm all alone. Like, how am I supposed to afford it from, you know, like one salary, also a charity salary? You know, that's not gonna. I love my job, but yeah. Okay, this is not gonna help the point that we are not together. But when we were trying to find a flat, we were so desperate that we were actually thinking of maybe renting a flat with just like one bedroom and just share a bed. Because honestly, it's so expensive. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's genuinely ridiculous. I'm like, yeah. Anyways, maybe that's where times are coming, and we actually do have to move into like one bedroom flat.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. I'm just gonna go off and live in my van in my tiny house, and that's all. How I'm gonna afford it? Not sure, but surely it's cheaper than a flat in Edinburgh.
Yeah. I think that actually brings us really nicely to another topic about the positives of being single and like the freedom, I guess. I mean, you can be so free in a relationship. Maybe the right relationship, you feel free or even freer. But I definitely had that when I got out of my last relationship, which was, by the way, a very mature breakup. I'm very proud of us. And it was a very loving relationship. So it wasn't like freedom feeling in like an intense way. But I think when you're in a relationship, there's a lot, you have to think about this other person's needs. You're building a life with someone, which is really exciting, but can also be like, there's a lot of compromise. And I don't know if it's that I'm not very good at compromising, being an only child, or maybe we'll blame it on that. Or I maybe just wasn't with the right person and there was just too much to compromise on and we just weren't kind of aligning in that way. But I think when we broke up, I had this like big sense of freedom that I can now just really do what I want. And not that I've really taken advantage of it. I'm still in Edinburgh doing probably the same thing. But, well, I'm going traveling, for example, for 2 months. And it is something I could have, of course, done in a relationship, but it just feels a bit different. It just feels like I can just kind of go off, kind of do what I want. I think there is like a sense of freedom in that like, I think maybe a part of me is a bit scared to get in a relationship again because just that kind of feeling of like sacrificing. Like I think I have a lot of ideas of what I want in my life. And I can definitely see a partner there for sure. And it'd be really loving. But I think building a life around someone or with someone kind of scares me because I think a lot of my plans are very like Eloise things. Like I want to travel a lot. I want to kind of buy my own place. And I'm like, well, if I buy my own place, would I buy it also with the person? And then would we have to share interior design styles? Like, yeah.
My face wasn't that like, oh my God, I know. It was more like, yeah, she really needs someone who's not going to say anything about the decor.
Yeah, I think I need to grow. This is maybe a growth edge because I am really specific about interior design. But I think I just would love to have my own place where I can just so make it my own. I can make all the decisions myself. Like maybe it'd be something I would get past if I really love and care about the person. But I think because there's not a person in mind, just the idea of someone coming into my life and stopping me doing the things that I want to do is quite scary. This is maybe giving red flag energy that I'm just posting out into the internet. But like, it is something that I think it quite excites me about being single is that I just have so much choice about what I want to do in my life. I'll let you comment.
Well, I think it's interesting because I think we have actually had this conversation another time. We had all of these conversations another time, actually. But I think I'm a bit different from that, I think, because I do see the freedom situation as like something really good from being single. I think, actually, sister, I think for you, maybe the emphasis on the freedom part that like you can just do whatever you want to do, and because you just want to do a lot of things. I think you're that kind of person who just wants to do like so many different things. And then on my side, I think what I liked about I'm still single. What I like about being single is kind of figuring myself out. That's for me the emphasis on that. I know for you that's like part of it as well, but like I think my emphasis on it is that like I can just like figure myself out, like like what I like to do or like what I really want, those kind of things. So it's like my focus is really much on like the internal things and all of that kind of those kind of things, because I mean, yeah, I'm like, yeah, the freedom, like I can do whatever I want. But I think interestingly, I do have that kind of sense of like longing to have someone to do things with. So for example, like the whole thought of like moving in another country, like, you know, that I can do it anytime I want if I have money for it. But, you know, it's more like, I'm like, no, I would like to do that with someone else, you know? So I'm like, I feel like in those kind of things, I actually have someone in my mind that I'm doing those things with, you know? So it's actually, for me, it's quite different because all those things, I kind of want to do that with someone else. And I think this is where it comes in, the fact that I kind of like missed it out on my, where my dating history and where I am right now. Like the thing that, you know, it's like, it would be nice to like have someone to build, you know, a future with. And I think, because I have that feeling, you know, the thought of like, oh yeah, I can like just travel somewhere alone. Like, I know I kind of want to like do that with someone else, you know, like I have that feeling more, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that really did. I think a lot of people could relate to you, and maybe me as well. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird with, with things. And I guess I am also, like, again, a bit more newly single. So that might come in time. I might kind of feel. And I think there is a big part of me that does also want to share these experiences. Like, I could imagine, like, going traveling with a partner and it being amazing. I think I need to find someone that's just as insane as me in, like, the right kind of way. You know, I think...
This is why we're never gonna date.
Yeah. I think, honestly, like, I think, well, also because you're straight and we're sisters, but I think that's kind of one of the things that, like, I think we're so good at being friends, but I think we couldn't attach our lives anymore because I think we're quite different in that way. And yeah, I think I need to find someone kind of on that same vibe as me. And I have been interested kind of recently in, like, the phrase self-partnering. I know that was something that Emma Watson spoke about. I haven't really read enough about it, but someone explained to me how they see self-partnering, and I really liked their definition, where self-partnering isn't really about being single. It's, you know, you can be in a relationship, you can be in multiple relationships if you're polyamorous, but your main focus is on yourself. So you're kind of like dating yourself first, and you're kind of doing this, and then other people kind of enhance your life. And, you know, so I can most probably see myself just with one partner, and I can really see, like, myself like coexisting with this person. Like, I think I can kind of imagine a relationship where it's like we really love each other and care for each other, and we'll probably be exclusive, I think. But we don't merge our lives too much. Like, I think we just find each other when it works. Which is why, to be fair, I've not had a relationship like this. So I might be totally, when I am, I'm like, no, I want to be joined at the hip with this person. But I feel that right now I love the idea of just, like, I don't know, like, I think just, it's going to sound cheesy, but kind of love keeping us together, but without any kind of big pressures. So I think I would do really well in, like, a long distance relationship, for example. Not too far, but just one where we're just like, okay, well, I love living here, you live living there, and that's actually okay. We'll just make it work. We see each other because we really want to see each other. And maybe in the long term, we might try and bring our lives closer together. But there's just that slight, like, difference where we're kind of just, like, working with what works. Not a no compromise situation, but it's just, like, this more feeling of co-living than, like, joining your lives. Yeah. Anyway, so I had a question that's again in your words. And it was a really good thing that you brought up. And it's about, like, how we are kind of, like, constantly evolving as people in our 20s, which I guess you are anytime, but I think your 20s is a very key time where you're figuring yourself out, you're trying lots of things, messing up things, and how that is going to be a difficult time to find a partner. And I would love it if you could expand on that, please.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was a very recent thought, actually, about this, because, yeah, I think, you know, as a 27-year-old, I see my friends' relationships. I learn a lot from their relationships, you know, how, like, what is healthy, what is not healthy. And because their relationships a lot of times different from my relationships, how they were. And so, and also I learned a lot from my relationships and stuff. And I think, like, you just constantly learning, but you're also constantly learning what you are like you're also like, I feel like I'm changing so much in like since I turned 25. Like, it sounds like it was a long time ago. It actually wasn't that long, but I think I'm constantly changing. Like, you know, I think everything in your life affects you when you change. Like my job, you know, all of these things have like so much effect on me personally, and I think in some weird way those things also shape like what I want in my relationships. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, I think, you know, it's just I'm changing so much. And then obviously with that, my dating, I don't know, not boundaries, but also kind of boundaries. But you know, my setting standards, I don't know what's the word for it, but they are obviously changing with me changing. So I think I had this thought because I hit the 3-year mark of being single this month. I'm not keeping I am keeping a diary. But yeah, I know I forgot to celebrate. But yeah, anyway, so we hit the 3-year mark of me being single, and I kind of looked back and I was like, oh, so interesting, because I feel like the relationship I was in 3 years ago is just feels so distant and so different from what I would get into like now, you know. And then, like, I haven't been in a relationship in all those 3 years, obviously, because I was single, but like, you know, I'm just like, oh, it's so interesting how much I've changed in the 3 years just by living life and existing, and not even like particularly focusing on I want to change these things or I want to change. So it's like, I don't know, I feel like, yeah, you just change so much in your 20s that you know, your dating habits and your dating views and like what you want from a partner will change drastically, even like in a year's time or something. So, which I don't think you have as a teenager, obviously, or like when you're in high school or like uni and stuff, because you know, in those times, I think your focus isn't that, you know. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like, it was just such a good point, because with my relationship that I just had, like, it kind of worked at the time. Like, I think we were quite cute together, and like, you know, he was like one of my best friends. Like, it really worked. Wait, until it didn't, obviously, because we're not together. But now you're like, I can't imagine you being in that relationship, not in necessarily like in a bad way, like, but just like that I'm quite a different person now. And that's only been a year. And you want to, because it was your point. So yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that, like, yeah, I think when I was saying that, I think it's because, you know, I'm obviously like in touch with both of you, so I'm like, I think also, you know, he also changed quite a lot, I think. So it was really interesting, I feel like, because you both changed so much in like, because I was obviously all the time, I you know, always seen you guys like you live together, so I was I was basically part of this relationship. And loved it. But yeah, so I think it was really interesting because obviously I knew you guys then and I know you guys now, and I'm just like, that's so interesting, because I feel like you both changed like in different directions, which is, I guess, is also a point that, you know, you both change different directions. So like, maybe that's why it wasn't meant to be, you know. But it is very interesting because it wasn't that long ago, but I think it's just, I can really feel the difference between you. And so it's just interesting how much you can change in like such a small amount of time, you know.
I think maybe to add on to the list of growth things, I know this is more superficial, but my type of people that I date has changed. Like, yeah, like even like both personality wise, but also looks, which is kind of scary, because I'm like, how will it change again? Like, if I start dating someone, I don't think so. I'm sure, you know, I'd be very happy with the person I'm with, but that's been kind of interesting. My whole thing of like, you know, I think definitely I date in a very more like queer way, being bisexual myself. I've dated a lot more people that are queer themselves, whether they're women, they're bi men, non-binary people. Like, I think that's been really like, you know, quite a big part of my current dating, and something I'm really enjoying as well. It might just be because we have that kind of community in common, and like, and my ex, he was very straight as well, which is nothing wrong with that. We love straight men. But like, I just found that I don't think I've really dated many straight people recently, or I mean, I have maybe, but like, it's definitely been like less. So like, my dating history in the past was very straight men, and now it's been like very fruity. So that's kind of been fun. Anyway, I feel like there was something you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say that, like, yeah, no, I definitely feel that similar in a way.
Yeah.
Obviously not exactly the same, but as a straight person. But I think I think because we were just talking about like dating apps and stuff, and then and I kind of like thought back the days when I had dating apps and like the type of people I would like swipe right. And I'm like, and I was just thinking, I was just like, I would not swipe on those people nowadays. Like, I was just like, oh, like the type of person I'm looking for, like I would be looking for in an app are like so different than
Like
who I was like. I love my hiking. Yeah, hiking men out there. Hiking men out there, bouldering, have a dog. I don't know. Would like to live in a van together. Just anything, tiny house. I can make a whole list. But I think it's just very different, like what I would look for right now. And even like a year ago, I probably would have looked for something different. I think it's also obviously also for me at least it changes based on what I'm looking for. But I think yeah, it's interesting how it changed. And I think I definitely this like change is definitely like a positive change for me at least, for sure. I can see, because I definitely am looking for more good people than just like the looks. I don't know, because I think that's what I but also again, it's just a whole different topic of like also like dating apps and stuff. So I don't know.
Talk about that. So
Yeah. So should I say, or yeah? Okay. Well, well, talking about dating apps. Actually, it's really funny about this point I just said on a date. 2 days ago.
Okay,
So this point, but I think we have talked about this before, but I think the dating apps is also something that what I don't like about it is, like having to decide about a person based on pictures. And so because my point is that there was this video I sent you, I found on Instagram, that was a lady. It talked about kind of, she was relating it to the different things. She was saying that like all women, like they always like find themselves, like they just look at themselves too much, and that they don't, they just find all the things that they don't like about themselves and stuff. And she was saying that like in history, like people were not supposed to be able to see themselves, like because mirrors were invented and all of that. So you were supposed to only be able to see yourself, I don't know, in your reflection in the water or something. And so it's very different. So it's you're just never supposed to see yourself or compare. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I really loved what she said, is that you're supposed to be, you're an experience. So the way people see you and experience you is basically that you're an experience. They don't stand in front of you and just stare at you for like an hour long, what you would do in the mirror, and try to find all the mistakes and your I don't know, on you. So I just loved that so much, that that you're an experience. And I think what dating apps do is that you just see pictures and some words that people put up, some of them terrible, some of them a bit more effort, but you will never be able to tell who that person is based on pictures, also because everyone will obviously and always put the best pictures of themselves, and you just can't judge someone from the pictures. Like you really can't. And I think that's why I also kind of don't like it in a way. And yeah, I don't like them. That's all. That's my point, man, to make. Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, because I think you've also not really had the best dating app experiences. Like I think you probably had, like probably your nicer dates have just been more ones like organic ones. Yeah, I've not really had as much dating app experience, I think. I've only had 2 like dating app dates since I've lived in Edinburgh, and I've been here for 3 years. I mean, I was in a relationship for like over a year. But yeah, I don't know, they're kind of weird. Like I think I don't have as much of an opinion about them because I've not like tried them as much. But I do so agree. I think you're more than a picture, you're a dimensional person. And when you meet someone in person, you can see like just so much about them. Like I'm sure there's so many people that I've dated and really fancied, and but I probably wouldn't swipe them on a dating app, which is kind of crazy. And then there's people that I have swiped that I'm like, what is going on? I don't know. I've also never been on a dating app in a serious way. So I'm kind of curious about that because currently I wouldn't say I'm dating seriously or like really dating at all. I'm going traveling. It's not really like in the forefront of my mind. But I think when I get back, I would like to try the dating apps and kind of just test how it is to kind of actually look for someone seriously. Because I think there is something about dating apps where like it is, I think the good points are obviously you meet people that you wouldn't necessarily meet. So maybe broadens your horizons, gives you a bigger pond, if we're gonna like use that metaphor. Um, and what was the other thing I was gonna say actually? I think also maybe this part of abundance of choice can be a good thing because sometimes maybe you can get a bit caught up in a person. I think maybe we've discussed about this about maybe sometimes getting caught up in the way you met as well. So say, so with organically, I think we both had that before. Like, I like briefly dated someone that we met at like a flat viewing and I was like, this is kind of a really cool meet cute. And then, yeah, so I think maybe having the abundance of choice is quite nice because I think if you're just dating within your social pool, maybe you have more pressure. You feel like, oh, I guess they're like the only one that I'm interested in, or they have flaws, but there's not really anyone else out there. But then when you have a dating app, you're like, holy shit, there are lots of people out there. Some of them, most of them probably like are not for me, but that's okay because I think there's a narrow path of like who you actually want to date and fancy. But I think that's actually quite nice and quite exciting. So I think I would be curious about that. And I think I do definitely get the whole kind of superficialness of dating apps. And I think I would be more attracted to profiles that give a vibe of someone. Like obviously like you're going to put like your best pictures. I'm guilty of this as well. But I think maybe someone that kind of shows their hobbies or like maybe takes time in their profile to like, I think that's kind of why I've kind of maybe quite liked Hinge the most in this context because it kind of forces you to make a profile that's a bit more detailed about you and like people do that, which is quite nice. So, you can kind of like get someone's sense of humor. People sometimes put like voice messages. Like the prompts are really interesting or whatever. And I really like that. And then I think just putting pictures of like maybe yourself, obviously, but then also just like stuff that you're doing, your vibe, like kind of like a mood board of who you are as a person, I think could be really great. So I think that could be what I'd be looking for. And I think that's what I maybe want to create my profile like as well. So people kind of see me as a multi-dimensional human being that I am. And yeah, so I'm kind of curious about them, but I don't have big opinions because I think I can definitely see the downsides. And I know that you've not really loved it. And you have been on some shocker dates where it's not okay. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna add to that. I'm gonna put my tea down. There's still some more. I'm such a slow drinker. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I see what you mean. I think we had this whole conversation about like, like the first way, like the first time you meet someone, like the way that you meet someone. Because I think my problem with dating apps is that I don't want to meet on a dating app, which is, I know, silly because, in this world, I don't think it's like a bad thing to meet on a dating app. It's actually like so many people meet there because where else are you supposed to meet people?
Yeah, some of our lovely couple friends met on dating apps as well.
Exactly. So. Literally all my stepsisters are with partners and husbands and children from those husbands that they met on dating apps. So like, like I know so many great stories, how it worked for them, like, so I know that it works for a lot of people. Yeah, it just didn't really work for me, I think. So yeah, I think like I have this weird emphasis on just kind of, the way we meet, there has to be something like special about it. And it could be because I have met partners from dating app. Like that's the one that you were saying. Like I had a partner from a dating app that we have known each other from before. So childhood love, all of that, So it was kind of like that. Oh, like that was like kind of like extra special.
Yeah. You just kind of reconnected. You just kind of reconnected for the dating app, but you already had the background.
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of, that was, yeah. So I just feel like there's like a little extra something special about it that I'm like, I kind of like need. And I think, with a dating app, like it just wouldn't happen. Because I think I found myself so many times that I was on a dating app and I was like looking for people that, or like I would get excited about people that, oh, I don't know who this is. And, you know, like I've met them before, like even I've seen them when I was working in a cafe, and, you know, it's just like trying to make it more personalized or something, make it more, a bit more special. And I that's the thing that like I always find myself trying to do that. And with a dating app, like, you know, it could just accidentally put me in a situation like, oh yeah, no, I want to go on a date with this guy because there's like extra special thing. There's like, oh yeah, I've seen them coming into like the cafe I worked in, and it's like, oh, so there's something about it because oh, I found him here, you know, and I know who this is, so like this must mean something, so I will have to go on a date with this person. No, I don't have to, but you know what I mean. So it's like it's kind of like this false excitement that comes with it. I don't know I don't know what the point I'm making, but yeah, I don't know. I think I have personally more of like an emphasis on, you know, the meeting be something special. But maybe this is why I'm single, and and I should just let that go, and I'll just meet the person how I'm gonna meet the person, you know. So, but you know, I do see what I mean, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I think maybe it's also one of these things, not wanting to say that this is part of your reasons, but maybe some people might get this feeling, I don't know, maybe from like kind of pop culture and media as well, because I feel like every romance movie that we've grown up on, like no one meets on a dating app, because that'd be such a boring story. You know, like you never get like, or I can't think of a movie where people have been like, oh, well, we met on a dating app, because then that's just like a quick story. You know, like in the stories where we're kind of taught, it's like there's a kind of struggle, but in a kind of fun way. You know, like you maybe meet the person, but then you don't see them for so long, and then, you know, and then it comes back, and then there's maybe a trouble, but then you finally get together, and it's like, oh, you know, and there's that kind of meaning, and there's a lot around like if it's meant to be, what?
And that's why you get into wrong relationships. Because you're like, oh my God, it's my childhood love. And yes, and extra other things I'm not going to say, but you know, it's like just make it so special and like, oh, this is meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That whole thing, like, so yeah, the stars aligning and things. And I don't know, I definitely fall for that as well. Like, I think sometimes when I start dating someone and it's been like a really exciting thing, I'm like, oh my God, is this like the beginning of my love story? Is this like the stars are finally aligning, you know? And like, I don't know. And I think it distracts from the actual relationship. And, or at least for me, like, I think I've definitely been in that situation where I've just stuck onto things because I'm like, oh, but the way we met, like, you know, it was so good at the start. And, but with dating apps, I think that it brings more about, okay, you're just these two people, like, let's not think about how we met too much. I mean, it can be like a funny story or whatever. Like, you could be like, oh, like, he said this to me or whatever. But I feel with dating apps, the journey begins when you first meet in person. Like, I think a dating app's more just like a kind of passage or like a initiator to this kind of meet cute. And the meet cute is like you meet at the bar, you know, and obviously it's organized, but like, I think I would think of the beginning as that side. You know, if someone asks me like, oh, how did you meet your partner? Like, I mean, I probably would be like on a dating app, but how I'd really feel is, oh, we met at this bar, you know, and that's where it begins. So that's kind of my mentality of it. But I think, again, like, I've not really had that much like experience on dating apps. So I might literally, if I go on dating apps again, like in a few months, I might come to you and be like, I hate this, you know. So yeah, I'm kind of conscious that I've had limited experience with it. To be fair, no, I had a full-on relationship from a dating app because the guy in Germany, which really does not back up my point because that was not a good relationship. Yeah, so yeah, I think definitely my point is flawed because we met on a dating app and that relationship was not healthy, and I'm very glad I'm out of it. But at least maybe the thing keeping us together, I wasn't like, oh my God, we met in such a great way. I think there was other reasons that kept me together, which were toxic, and I've learned a lot from it. I'm trying to think, I feel like there was something else. Oh yeah, you say, because...
what I wanted to say is that I think also with, you know, dating apps, I think what I find myself falling into is that I just kind of use it as distractions, kind of like a social media kind of thing, you know, like just scrolling on my just scrolling my phone. Like if I'm bored, I'm just gonna go on it. And I think that's what I don't like about it, because it like really dehumanizes the people on it, because you know, I'm like, oh, I'm just bored, I'm gonna go and do a little like swipe, and I'm like, those are actual people, you know. And I don't like how it's like dehumanizing people. So I'm like, yeah, I don't like that part of it, you know. I mean, it's obviously the upside, like the good side of it is that, you know, there's just all these people that you can meet that you otherwise would never meet probably. But at the same time, those are profiles, you know. And I'm like, I know there's another human being behind it, but you know, when you're just swiping and stuff, like you just don't really think about it, and you just like, I found myself so many times just being bored and just like swiping, and I was like, this is not good, you know. And then you find yourself also being cancelled on 3 minutes before your date's supposed to happen.
That's shitty.
Them being in a different city, literally be like, sorry, I'm still in a different city to where we're supposed to meet 3 minutes before the date. So those things could happen. And then those things I feel like in real life, like in, you know, if it's someone, you know, in real life, like you would just not do that too.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's so shitty. Because I went on a dating app date recently, which even though I said I'm not really dating apps, but I guess I kind of am. But I don't know. It kind of scares me a little bit. But we kind of had a discussion, because I was like, probably everybody has this discussion where it's like, it's actually so nice to meet the person in person. And I think definitely for me, having this kind of balance of like not talking too much on a dating app before you meet, because you maybe get like a certain expectation of someone, or like a certain image of someone that they'll never be the image, because you just can't predict that. There is an app, apparently, I can't remember what it's called, where you don't talk at all and you just arrange dates, which I don't think I like either, because I don't really have that much time, and I feel like I want to be quite intentional. So I think I'd maybe want like a little bit of chat with the person on the app, but then not too much, because if you're talking for like more than a few days, it can just go in your head. You had that where you spoke to someone for a while.
I had it multiple times, but actually I was gonna do a counterpoint, because it's true, and I agree with it. I've always been like that, like, yeah, you don't talk for too long. I've done that multiple times, that I've talked for too long, and it was, I just had a different expectation, and then they were just different, and I was like, well, oh well, whatever. But I just recently heard about another one, a friend of mine. She was talking to someone on dating app for a while, and she was very scared, like, oh no, like we have been talking for so long. It was because of like he was living far away, so like they just couldn't arrange a date. So they were talking for weeks before they even met, and she was like terrified, like, oh no, like, you know, I just have all this like thing in my head, like how is it gonna be? And it was perfect. And you know, like they are basically like dating now and stuff, and it's like August, so there's always you know, and I guess it's more of a you know, what's the word, it's not the rule but the exception. Yeah, so it could be just the exception. But I think, you know, I feel like, to be fair, I think if it's with the right person, you can have chat, but also in person, hopefully it's going to be the same. I don't know. It's confusing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think there's probably no right way to do it. And I think dating apps is definitely like an alternative. And I think it's also normal to kind of go in and out of it as well. I think like sometimes you may be in more of a mood for it, then maybe you need a break, and that's so fine. So, yeah.
Or, you know, I've been having a date. Yeah, I've had a date. But no, that's not what I want to say. I want to say I've been having a break from dating apps. Actually, it's like almost been a year as well that I haven't been on a dating app. And you just need a flatmate who goes on a dating app, and then you realize this is why I don't want to be on a dating app, and you just don't re-download it. So my strike of not being on it is just, you know, every day it's growing. That's all. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Unless there's something else you'd rather discuss, maybe we could just touch upon casual dating, and if that's like a fun thing, or if it just kind of, you know, procrastinates our loneliness. That could be quite, I don't know, a good closing topic, unless there's anything else. Okay. Fine. I don't really know where to go with this, actually, to be honest. I think it's I think it's something, because I think I've had a lot of casual relationships that have kind of like been different circumstances, different varying emotions. They've always ended badly, whether I've been the heartbreaker or the heartbroken. And so I think I'm not really a fan of them personally, but I still get in them. This is the longest I've been single since I've started dating, to be, if we include casual relationships. This is the first time I've not had any situationship for a year, almost. Like before, I mean, there's obviously been like a few things, but I wouldn't say anything like that intense. And that's been great. But then it's also kind of, you have your needs as well. And that's quite hard to maybe not have like a consistent person that provides those, that you can, because I think also sex is something that it gets better with time, maybe. I don't know, like you get more comfortable with the person. It's nice to sleep with someone that you're a bit more comfortable with. So there's a really temptation there, but then it always ends up messy. Minus a few situations. I actually have had some casual relationships that actually have been just really fun. I think they've been helpful that they've been abroad. I think I've also been in a lot of situations in my life where I've kind of been like not in a right place for a relationship, either mentally or just like I've been kind of about to move somewhere. Like, for example, I got into like a situationship at the end of uni and I was like, well, I'm not looking for a serious relationship. And then so I kind of just started dating this guy who, I don't want to say it was a waste of time because I probably learned a lot from him, but like I would never have dated him seriously. And we also had a lot of arguments, which is kind of stupid because we weren't even dating seriously. And it was quite stressful and emotionally heavy. But we still did it anyway. I guess the sex was good. I don't know, looking back on it, not that great, but So I don't know. I think it's like quite a complex topic that I think they're so hard to avoid because I think you have needs. And also like people, it's normal to crave intimacy and connection with someone, even if they're not the right person for you long term. Yeah, that's my opinion. But I do try and avoid casual relationships. So yeah, I think I would like to date with intention and date for long term now that I'm 25. What's your opinion?
Well, I have less of an experience with casual dating as you do. Yeah, I mean, this is not shaming. It's great. Yeah. I'm enjoying it secondhand. I just sounded wrong. But I think I tried casual dating. It just didn't work because I think. Yeah, like every time I tried, because I remember when I moved to Edinburgh, I was just freshly out of the last relationship I was in, and I was just in my euphoric of like phase of like I'm free. I'm like I'm not gonna look at another man ever in my life,
which I think made us closer, which is really good because we both had the same thing, which is a great, really good like bonding friendship thing, I think.
Agree. I think that was really good that we both were in the same space of like just got out of like a not a good relationship, and we're both just like really happy to just be able to be ourselves, because I think we both had that in our relationship, the one that was like really not good, that we were both like toned down, and like it was like our personalities and what like made us was the problem in the relationship, which is like ridiculous. That's not supposed to be a problem. We are great. I mean, we all have our problems and mistakes. Yeah, but and faults and stuff. But I think so. It was like a really nice time of like for both of us, just to kind of like be happy that we can just be ourselves and no one is telling you that like I don't like that. Anyways, but yeah. So I think at that point I was just like, oh, like I'm just gonna, I don't want to be in a relationship. The thought of a relationship made me want to like puke, just like, I don't want this. But then obviously I was kind of in like, but I kind of also want to explore. So then I downloaded like Hinge, I think. I think it was Hinge. That was the first time I downloaded Hinge. I had Tinder before, but yeah, that was the first time I downloaded Hinge. Anyways, and so I was like with the intention of like, I'm just going to be casually dating. I don't want obviously a relationship, so I just want to like have fun. I couldn't. I just like, I don't know. I just feel like I went on like, I don't know how many dates I went on. Like a couple of dates, like maybe for like 5-6 people or something. And then I just couldn't. I would just always keep like overthinking it. I just couldn't be like, because I couldn't just not care about the people, and then I don't know, like I also met people that were so lovely and obviously perfect boyfriend material, and I was just like, oh, this is not what I want, I'm like, I don't want this. So I just basically ended up, I just stopped it. I was like, I just can't do this. And then also, I think the next time I fell into a casual thing was because of you. It's because of you, because you did all of that.
I introduced her to someone that ended up being, he was really good in bed.
He was. Well, I don't know if he's gonna hear this. Like, you were very good in bed.
So
yes.
this is the one flex that I bring to my matchmaking, was at least you had a fun time, but in other ways not. It wasn't very emotionally healthy.
No. But yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that more. But I think I do a little bit more. But yeah, I think so. That was one thing that, like, actually, no, I don't know. I think if that was like confusing, because I think I was still in like the casual mindset of like, yeah, no, I want something casual. Then this happened, and then I was like, I just really clicked with this person, and then I mean, stop laughing. I really clicked with this person, and it was like, oh shit, actually, you know, I kind of am interested in this person, and that was like, I think I kind of like kind of confused like lost in extreme chemistry with like being good for each other, and like, oh, maybe this is because I think like that was something that I had every time I got into a relationship with someone. The first time we met, I had this like insane chemistry with this person. I was like, oh my gosh, like what is this? This feels so different. And like, and then we would like click very well, and was like, this is like meant to be, like we have to be in a relationship. And that's what happened with this guy. But then obviously we were not meant to be in a relationship at all. They were not ready for anything like that. I also wasn't ready for a relationship. I also didn't want to be in a relationship. I just wanted something casual. But I just couldn't, because I obviously got feelings, lol. So I think, yeah, I just failed at being casual there. And then again, I just couldn't. And I do remember like the first time I tried to be starting something casual, that was in uni, and it just ended up being a full-blown relationship, and we moved in together and everything.
In general, it's a great relationship, right? As well, like
it was like we literally lived together and everything. So you know, I just realized that however I try, I can't really do casual in that kind of sense, because I just like care about the person, and I just can't. I just can't. So but then your point comes in that, you know, like obviously a person has needs. So then like, how would you do that? So that's the thing that, well, just get toys.
Yeah. Yes. That's going to be the conclusion, actually. We just get toys. Just get a really good vibrator. We can recommend. We have the same one, but it's... We have two separate ones, the same brand. She wants me to stop talking.
What I want to say is that my manager said that he's like, I wonder if this podcast is going to come up on my LinkedIn and if I'm going to see it. And I'm like, please don't watch this.
No.
Thank you.
I'll say that. I'll put that as a disclaimer at the start. I'll put your manager's name at the start, and
Please don't watch
I'll say don't watch it. I don't think this one's going to go on LinkedIn.
Good.
Maybe Instagram. Yeah, I think we'll not put LinkedIn for this one. Yeah. But yeah, I think just to kind of wrap up like the kind of situationship thing, unless you have another thing to say, is that I really, the thing with the emotions, I think there's definitely like situationships and casual, there is this pressure to like bottle down any emotions and not feel them. And I think I can't live like that. I think I'm at a stage where it's really important for me to feel my emotions, ride the waves of emotion of life, ride the waves of life's emotion. And I think that's still a learning journey for me, but I think casual relationships really halt that learning, because you just kind of feel like, oh, like, I don't know, like you just feel really, I don't know, like weak or something if you have emotion around it, or like the correlation, like the kind of the whole arrangement kind of tears to pieces. So I think there's definitely been times where I think I've had casual relationships where like I'm kind of almost lying to myself. I'm like, oh, it's so fine. But actually I'm really bottling down some emotions. Even if I know I don't want to date the person, you can't help but care for someone. Like, you know, like, I think also sex can be very intimate in an emotional way as well. And when you have that with someone repeatedly, it's hard to not care, you know? And I think that's why I think dating, that's my biggest difficulty with dating right now in my 20s, is like balancing the natural human need that a lot of people have to like hook up with someone, but then also feel comfortable with someone and be caring and kind of get care, you know, like get like aftercare, feel safe with someone, and that those are all things that are weirdly hard to ask for and not always provided. So yeah. So thank you so much for being my first lovely guest. And yeah, let me know if you enjoyed. If you have any questions, I don't know if we'll answer them, but we might do. You never know. But please join in the conversation. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, that's a wrap. Eee.
Thanks. I'm never doing this again.
Give me a hug. Give me a hug. I feel like I'm the clingy one in this relationship. I